Recent story in the Wall Street Journal says Catholic schools are losing students at record rates and hundreds are closing. Citing numbers from the National Catholic Educational Association, the Journal reports more than 200 of the country's nearly 6,000 Catholic schools have closed. And enrollment nationwide fell 6.4% at the start of the school year.
Priests and principals from a cluster of Catholic schools in areas including Cheektowaga, West Seneca, and Orchard Park met to begin the painful task of deciding which schools will stay and which will go. It's a reality of the times. Notre Dame Academy, for example, is the only pre-K through 8th grade Catholic school left in South Buffalo. Half the Catholic schools in Western New York closed in the last 10 years.
Well, that's part of our difficulty with getting kids here, because we don't have the grammar schools we once had. I mean, years ago there were all kinds of schools. There was Sacred Heart, which was a large school in Orchard Park. St. Bernadette's in Orchard Park, that was a large school, feeder school. St. Mary of the Lake. I mean, we had a number of Catholic schools in the area that kind of fed into our program. Now we have to entice people from public school, which is a lot harder to do. Those guys don't grow up in Catholic culture, and so coming here sometimes is difficult for them because they don't necessarily understand the discipline and the things that we do. You know, like having mass on a regular basis or praying before every class and this kind of stuff. That's foreign to some of these guys that come from public school.
What do parents look for in sending their kids to here, or really just getting out of the public schools and going into the Catholic education?
I think a lot of parents that are looking to get out of the public school space are looking to put their child in a place that is more so actually focused on their child and education, and then also the extracurriculars like athletics and arts and whatnot, where they may not be offered that same opportunity in their public schools. So I think a lot of parents are looking for a more direct relationship to their kid with whatever school they choose to go to. I think parents are also looking at, facilities, how nice the school is, kind of the reputation with the school, what they have to offer, and other aspects like arts, as I said, and athletics. So yeah, I think that pretty much sums it up. I think the connections are way stronger here because you're just with all guys every single day, so you're basically just hanging out every single day, just building on that relationship throughout your 4 years. There's really not much drama. I think everyone's friends. Everyone's pretty close, which is something that I really enjoy.
Would you say like the connections you made here have lasted a lot longer than you would have thought they would have?
For sure.
After 4 months of waiting, today the Buffalo Diocese announced it'd be closing 78 churches as a part of its Road to Renewal program. St. John Vianney, one of them. And despite promises to keep its Catholic school running, it was also announced that after 50 years, the school would be closing its doors too.
Part of the team that actually built this church?
Yeah.
How long ago was it?
I didn't put the sticks and stuff in there, but I outbuilt it, right? The money.
She tells me the school community, like for so many others who showed up in protest today, has become her family. Something Matthew Brunn, a father of 3, tells me his actual family feels as well.
There has to be another way, and I plead with them to do the right thing and leave our kids alone. The future of the Catholic Church is the youth, which I think we can all agree is the truth. Let's not close a Catholic school.
Leaving many parishioners tonight worrying this road to renewal isn't renewing anything but the diocese pockets.
We feel like they don't care about our kids. We feel like they don't care about our school, our church, our community. It really all came down to dollars and cents.
Somebody needs to take care of the children. We need Catholic education.
These are some of the voices who support faith-based education in our community and are part of this campaign launched by the Catholic Children's Learning Corporation, saying local Catholic elementary schools are facing unprecedented financial challenges.
The diocese did cut them off, quite frankly. There was one time the diocese gave over $13 million a year to their schools. That's gone. We can't do that again. We just can't close the school and tell parents find another school. It's beholding on us, the educators and the people of the diocese, to do a better job about that.
Very upsetting and, very emotional for him as well as for me.
How are you feeling about your school closing?
I don't feel good, and I don't like that it's closing.
They really do feel betrayed and ignored, and that's really unfortunate. But we're going to try to do better.
Lefever's organization works separately from the diocese and is working to figure out how it can help sustain Catholic education into the future. They will soon be working on a capital campaign to raise $3 million in seed money to help area Catholic schools. But he says funding won't solve the problem alone. There must be long-term solutions.
19 of them have enrollment under 200. Now, that's just not sustainable.
And with the faculty and staff and all the students leaving, what do you think we could do to maybe retain more of them?
We're always looking for different things. I mean, I think we have a great program here. I think, you guys have good academics, you have good challenging courses and like that. You learn a great deal. You have all kinds of activities, sports and activities and fine arts and things like that, I think there's a lot of positives here. I don't know why sometimes it has to do with that guys don't get what they want. I mean, you've probably heard stories of guys that, they don't get enough playing time or something like that. And so I'm going to go to this school instead so I can have more playing time or something like that. They think they're going to get more there. I don't know. I don't know. I wish I had one answer. I don't know if there is one answer. I mean, we're working on it. We're trying to keep developing programs and things like that. There's a retention committee that meets and like that, and you could refer, if we hear students talking about possibly leaving, refer them to that retention committee so that maybe they can intervene. We're trying different things.
You think that could be the reason for some of the transferring out is just
maybe,
so different?
Maybe. I think we emphasize a little more discipline and stuff like that, with a dress code and this kind of stuff. When you go to a lot of public schools, there's no dress code as such.
Yeah.
Where when you got to dress every day, when you come from a Catholic grammar school, you're probably doing that for those 8 years in grammar school.
Yeah.
If you suddenly come in here as a 9th grader and all of a sudden you got to dress every day, what is this? I don't know. I think there's a lot of different reasons. I don't think there's one thing that makes or breaks the place. So we're trying a lot of different things. It's one of the reasons why they built that sports stadium across the street, hopefully attract some athletes and things like that, that we have a nice facility, we have a competitive facility,